bigger and noisier. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it may better save it better, but if you want to, I think Hanoi is more traditional. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Well, just let me ask another question. South or north of Vietnam? So which part is better tourist, destination? So if you want to travel to your country, so north or south is suggested.
Yeah, it depend on the yeah, your go or your arm, your aim. Yeah, I think in the south Vietnam, you if you want to go to beach,
Ah,
yeah, beach, yeah,
beach, of course.
beach, yeah, and it's very good. You can find Nha Trang and Phu Quoc and Vũng Tàu. Yeah, it very nice beach. So if you want to travel to find some yeah, I don't know in yeah, you want to see the fields very large and very green,
Like,
look like
farmlands, nature,
yeah,
mountains. So got it.
yeah,
Greenery. You mean greenery? Yeah.
yeah, you should travel in the south, in the north, if you want to see the
Ah,
field. And the in the north Vietnam may be more traditional of Vietnam. Yeah, I think
so that is really good. So if you want to learn about your culture, it's better to
yes,
travel to the north
yeah,
of your country. So I got it. So
yeah,
of
yeah,
course, it's good.
yeah,
Well, okay, thank you.
yeah,
And now let's see what we have today. So you can be happy today because there is no listening. So
yeah,
let's see what
yeah.
we have. Yeah, of course,
I will
there
try.
is no
No
listening.
problem. Yeah,
Yeah, you're lucky today. At least at the end of the week, you don't have any listening section. Okay, well, let's see today. We're going to talk about some words like many, much, a lot of, and of course, you know how to use them. As you can see, we have expressions of quantity. So what are they and how we use? So as
mm,
you know, we have countable and countable nouns.
yeah,
Like the noun that can be counted is countable, like books. So plural form normally it consists of s, includes s at the end. But when we say uncountable, you know that. So we need to change the form. For example, mouse, mice. I'm sorry, we have something like this. And uncountable, like, for example, something that you can't count, like sugar. So there
yeah,
is no, if you want to count it, you need to like add something. For
mm,
example, spoon of sugar, a cup of tea. But there is something like, for example, when it comes to uncountable nouns, and of course, I mean conversational English. So sometimes we break the rules. Like,
yeah,
okay, please give me 2 coffees. And you're like, okay, so what I learned that coffee is uncountable. We don't add S. So what is this? This is normal. Of course, you have the same thing in your language that, when speaking, we normally change some rules. Like, for
yeah,
example, you can easily go to a cafe or restaurant and ask for 2 coffees, and no one says, oh, 2 coffees is wrong grammatically. Of course, it's okay. 2 teas, 2 coffees, but the rule says that, okay, you shouldn't use S with uncountable. And you need, for example, about bread, we don't say 1 bread, 2 breads, 3 breads. A loaf of bread, 2 loaves of bread. So sometimes we need to change them, as I told you, for actually uncountable nouns. So sometimes we need to change the form of it. And now we want to talk about some of these expressions, like many, much, as you can see, too many, plenty of. Which one
yeah,
is formal? Which one is informal? Now, let's see. let's talk about them one by one.
Yeah.
So many, a few, several, a number of. So of course, these expressions are used with countable. For example, many books, a few. But what's the difference between a few, a little, and few, little? Do you know the difference between few, a little, little? Do you know the difference between?
I think few you when talking about just something we can count, but little is uncountable now.
Yeah, but we also have little,
Mm.
little, a
Little.
few, and few. So what's the difference between these two? For example, when I say, we want to, I don't know, make a cake at home, and I ask my friend, do we have eggs, any eggs at home? Yes, we have a few. So it means we have maybe 3 or 4, a few eggs, but enough for a cake, so we can make it. But
Mm.
my friend says we have few eggs. It's not enough. So
Mm.
we have, but it's not enough. For example, do we have milk or sugar? Uncountable. Yeah, we have a little, I think. We have a little sugar. It means it's enough. A little, but enough. And I say, we have little sugar at home. Little. It means we need to go to supermarket because it's not enough. So few, little can be used this way.
Yeah.
Okay, and now for uncountable nouns, much, a little or little, and we have a great deal of, a large amount of. Let me write.
Yeah.
So for formal, for formal and countable, number of, for countable, and a great deal of, or a large amount of. So for uncountable, you can use. And now there are some words like some, any, a lot of, or lots of, and enough for both countable and countable. So this part is really easy, you know. And we talked about a few, okay. And when, if I wanted to actually talk about again, a few and feel like, you know, a few is like some, but few, not many, maybe not enough. Like a little against some, but little, not much. So because of this, I say
Mm.
maybe it's not enough. Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, for example, when I say little time is left, little time is left, it means we don't have time. So let's finish it. And when I say a little time is left, a little, it means some remains. So the difference between these two. Well, and the most important thing about formality, informality. For example, when I say a great deal of something, what is this? A great deal of effort. This is formal, too formal to be used in conversation. So for writing, it's okay. For formal situation is perfect. A great deal of, a number of, or I don't know, for example, sufficient. So they are the words that we normally use for formal. But let's have, or loads of, okay? Loads of, lots of, they can be used for informal. I have lots of friends, a lot of friends, lots of friends. That's, I don't say I have a large number of friends for in conversation. So it's, or I have loads of, loads loads of friends, loads of work, loads of snacks, so everything. Just if it's countable with S, if it's not, okay. And um, about much and many in negative sentence, okay? And we know that much and many mostly used in negative sentences, or maybe interrogative. So like question and negative. I say, I don't have much time, but I don't say I have much time. So for affirmative, I don't say I have much time. Plenty of time, enough time, a lot of time is okay. But much for negative, I don't. I don't have much. Or do you have much? So it's okay. You can also use it in interrogative, so it's okay. Or, for example, I don't have many friends. Okay. But I have many friends is maybe is not good. I can say I have a lot of friends. So many and much are better to be used in negative sentence than affirmative. For affirmative, a lot of is better expression that you can use. Well, and we have some expressions with of. A lot of, plenty of, some of, okay? And we know that many people, it's okay, but many of people, definitely incorrect. So some, plenty, a lot with of, okay? Some of the students, plenty of food, a lot of, for example, water, they're correct. But many of people, definitely no, many people, okay? Well, so we talked about this expression. Do you have any questions about these expressions? Something that you want to ask?
Yeah. I have a little bit to understand different from a few and few.
Yeah, a few and few. That is really okay. Let me, for example, when I say there are, for example, a few, okay, a few eggs in the fridge. There are a few. It means we need four eggs, and we have these 4 eggs. But when I say few, it means we have 3 eggs, but we need 4. It's not enough. So few, okay, is actually a small number of something. When it's not enough, not many, we say few. For example, when I say few students passed the exam, few passed the test, okay? What is this? It means almost none of them, almost none. Okay, so this is a few. But when I say a few students passed the test, okay, this is positive. Like, I say that, yes, some did, some did, some passed. So a few, like, positive, it means enough, some. But when I say few, it's almost like 0, not enough. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is and we have exactly the same thing about a little and little. For example, when I say little sugar, or for example, little time, I say, oh, let's stop this topic. Let's skip it because little time is left. No time. Almost done. Okay. So little time time is left. Okay. What is that? It means almost nothing. No time to continue. Okay, maybe just 2 minutes. Okay, it's not enough. But when I say a little time left, that is, I have time to continue. Maybe, okay, this is I have some time, okay? So some remains. So this is a way that you can use a little, a few. Get it?
Yeah, I feel like when use a few, that mean maybe we want to describe about exactly the number of something is in the number. For example, a few students mean it's maybe 4 and maybe 10, maybe 10 students. But a few, that mean that's so the percentage
No,
of you
no. Both few and a few both refer to actually number. But
yeah.
when I say a few student have, it's like maybe for example, among, I don't know, 100, just two people. This is few, just two people among, for example, 100. But when I say a few, maybe 10,
Yeah,
maybe 20. Okay, so few is not enough. Few and little are not enough. So it we considered it almost zero, not zero, but almost zero.
yeah.
But for example, when I say, oh, I think we have little sugar to make
Mm,
this cake, it means
mm,
please go to supermarket. It's just 1 spoon. So it's not
yeah,
enough. But when I say, yes, we have a little sugar, it means yes, that's enough. Maybe so
yeah,
we can make our cake. So this is the difference between little, a little, and few and a few. Get it?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Few maybe smaller than a few, right?
Definitely yes.
Yeah,
Definitely yes. Few, smaller than a few. Little, okay, yeah, of course. Yeah, less than a little. Very good.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Got it.
Okay, and now let's see. Okay. Well, and the one, and as you can see, complete the table in the language point with nouns from to. Here we have some nouns, so like countable, uncountable. And now let's use them. For example, uh, and just let's talk about and that. So do you know that how to use them? I think you know.
Ấy, ấn.
Yeah, and that. For example, the students are students, so you know that we
Yeah,
have definite, indefinite article. Yeah.
we can we can use ấn and ấn when we talk about the one thing, but
Yeah.
and we use when the words with yeah, I don't know it, I don't remember it in English, but it's the word become from I E O U
Yeah,
uh,
of course.
yeah.
Vowels. You mean
Well,
vowels. Of course, I understand what you say. So you mean vowels, of course, for N, we have vowels, the beginning of the word. Yeah, it's okay. But we have definite and indefinite article. Definite is that.
yeah,
Indefinite is,
we yeah, we use the when we mention the thing we know it already before, but yeah,
yes. One
yeah,
use, yes. Actually, this is the first thing that we teach to our student, like, therefore, of course, it's definite. So we're something that you mentioned before. Yeah,
yeah,
it's correct, definitely correct. But it can be a little confusing, especially, the use of the. So
yeah,
when should I say the book or books? Sometimes we use it, sometimes we don't. So that is really important. First, let's talk about indefinite article. That is a. You
mm,
know that for singular noun, of course, I saw a man. So this is singular countable noun. So we use it. This is the first time, okay? So, and it's like, not specific. It's not. So I use a. So this is the first one, you know. And if you refer to one of a group, for example, she is a teacher, one teacher out of many possible teachers. So and again, profession, jobs. Okay, for example, and of course we have nationalities. He is a doctor. She is American and American, a Vietnamese. So with, for example, professions and of course nationalities. And some expressions of quantity. So you know that a few, a long way. So you know this word. But when it comes to that, you know that when you refer specific or nouns, so it's you know them. So it's like, for example, I saw the dog. I know which dog you are talking about, so I know. And then the second one, when something is unique. For example, he is the president, one president. So we say that. The moon, the sun, you know that they are, and with superlatives, the best, the most, so I'm not going to talk about them. And when both the speaker and listener know or can identify the noun. For example, can you pass me the salt? The salt. Because I know, you know, we both know what we're talking about. So this is specific noun, salt on the table. So you know, I say that. And when we have plural or uncountable noun when speaking, okay, it's better not to use them. For example, we say dogs, not the dead dogs. Dogs are loyal. We don't say the, because it's a general statement about this, for example, animals, so I don't say. Or water, not the water. Water is really important. So water, not the water. So when plural, uncountable. When speaking generally, so we don't use. Name of countries, of course, you know that languages, so except for United, like, you know, the US and the UK. Well, so in summary, something non-specific, one of many, or for example, the first mention, something specific, unique, and of course, it's a noun for both speaker and listener. So this way we use that. Of course, there are some other rules, but for now, it's better to know them. Okay, now let's see. You choose. Well, for example, news. A news, or few, or what, some. We can see some. Product, yes. And expenditure.
And what would you said?
So I mean, you need to actually use them with these expressions. Okay, for example, expenditure.
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 Can you write it down?
Yeah, you have it here. You can see, here, expenditure. So you have it here. So I'm just reading this word.
Expenditure. I don't know.
So for example, you can see, so actually, some is okay. So for example, there has been some expenditure, okay, on new equipment this year. So some is good and you can use it. So you know that some can be used for uncountable nouns And of
Yeah.
course, when we say expenditure, so of course, unspecified amount, so which could be less depending on the context. So we can say some. And paper,
Countable.
yeah, of course.
And information is uncountable.
So information, of course, some, yeah.
Yeah. Some. Yeah.
Yeah.
Suggestion. I think both.
Okay. Both. For example, you can
Can
say
you
a
give me?
few, you know that. Suggestion, yeah,
Yeah.
of course. So suggestions, you can. For example, I give you some suggestions.
Yeah.
Countable. Some, few, many, a lot of, too many, so a number of, several, all them. Yeah. But this is countable. And the next one, business,
Oh,
of course.
and can we
Can you
use
hear me?
uncountable with? Hello,
With
hello,
what?
hello, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you
Can
now.
you?
It's okay.
Yeah. That means my question that can we use suggestion in uncountable?
But suggestion is countable.
Suggestion only countable, right?
Yeah, of course. So let me say something. You don't need, when you say countable, uncountable, we have some words. So we can say sometimes it's about, yeah, there are human, for example, time and times. And normally time is not countable, but we can also use it as countable. Yes, there are some exceptions. For example,
Yeah.
I read this book 3 times. Here, time is countable. Why? Because the meaning of time means the number of things that I did. But time is normally uncountable. So how much time do you spend? So
Yeah.
actually, it depends on the word, but not for every countable and countable. Normally we consider it as
Yeah.
this rule for uncountable nouns. So sometimes they can be considered as countable, like time, times, both of them. But suggestion, okay, so when this is a countable noun, because of this, we say suggestions. So it's okay.
Yeah.
And the next one, that is business, of course, is countable, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And yeah, of course, businesses, many businesses, a lot of, many. So why not? We can.
Yeah.
And we have travel.
Uncountable?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Much, a lot of, some, little. How to use it? For example,
Yeah.
I do much travel for work. You
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
A lot of travel. For example, I've had a lot of travel recently.
Yeah.
For example, I did some travel last year, so a lot of, some, little. Uh, there has been little travel in the past month. Okay, so,
Mm.
and the next one, just let me say something again. Here, there is exception, like time. So
Yeah.
maybe you hear someone says travels. Oh, what is this? If I refer to specific trips, I use countable for like trip. For example, my travels, okay, took me to 5 different countries last year. Travels here, I mean, okay? I have had a lot of travels, so I mean in Europe. So it's like, I mean different, exactly what you said. sometimes countable, but mostly uncountable. Yeah. So
yeah.
let me write here before I forget. Okay, let me write it. It's not bad. So travel is uncountable when referring to the activity
Yeah.
or general concept. Okay, but it can be countable when referring to specific trips. Or okay, so this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the next one, that is what's great experience. So what do you think about experience?
Yeah, I think both. But
So both,
most of time is uncountable.
of course.
But in the
So
situation,
uncountable. Yeah, of course.
yeah,
Both of them, as you said. If you are talking about, again, when you make it
yeah,
specific, so of
yeah,
course it can be countable, but yeah. Well,
yeah,
for example, I've had a few experiences that changed my life. Just, there are some special ones. So I use countable to normally and countable. Yes, much experience, a lot of experience. Yeah. And the next one, how
I
about
the
time? I
time.
just said, of course,
Oh,
I
yeah.
just said. And fact?
Fact. I think. Mhm. In fact, uh, maybe both. But but
Fact is
but I think
countable.
countable is more popular.
Countable, yeah. Fact is countable. Many
Yeah.
facts, a few facts, several facts. Facts, too many. So some, yeah, of course. So fact is countable. And we have accommodation.
And
Accommodation.
do we have any situation we can use facts in uncountable?
So you mean in fact?
Yeah.
So actually, it's not uncountable. But
Mm,
when you say in fact, you use just, singular form of it. It's
mm,
not uncountable because we normally consider it
mm,
countable. But when you
mm,
say in fact, of course, why do you need to say in facts?
mm,
The
mm,
phrase has
mm,
specific meaning.
mm.
Yeah, in fact,
Yeah.
based on fact. So you
Yeah.
don't need to make it plural. Yeah, so it's better to consider it as countable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Accommodation, I think it's
yeah.
countable.
Accommodation is
Countable.
countable. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. But you can consider it as uncountable as well. Yeah, so actually, let me say something. Just for some words that actually like they must be countable or uncountable. Most of general
Yeah.
concept we can consider, for example, accommodation. If it's a general,
Uh-huh.
for
Mm.
example, I need accommodation for my trip. So
Yeah.
here, okay, or a lot of accommodation, so you can use it as uncountable. But again, if you refer to specific type, you use countable. So for example, we have several accommodations
Mm.
booked for a team. So this
Mm.
one, this one, this one, this one. So again, you can use it.
Yeah.
Well, let me say something about, because you asked me about fact, it's not bad to talk about it. If you want to use fact as uncountable, depending on the context,
Mm.
normally we have the fact, in
Mm.
fact, so because typically is countable. but can be uncountable if you refer to the concept of truth, the concept of reality, especially, for example, like, the expression like de fact or in fact, so you can consider it, okay? But it depends on the context, like, I don't know, just in fact, de fact. Both can be considered, but we need to say that, okay, this is singular or uncountable, but typically it's countable. Well, the next word that is journey.
Journey, we can use both. If
Countable.
we can use countable when. Both,
It's countable,
right?
normally countable, yeah.
It's countable, right?
Countable, of course, it's countable because we have trips, journeys.
Yeah, but when we want to say about my about my trip or about my career or about uh, um during some time, we can use.
Yeah, you mean some context, yeah, you mean when you, yeah, okay, let me say, journey can be used as uncountable, but if you refer to a process or your experience, for example, when you say life is a long journey,
Yes.
this is general experience. So of course you don't say journeys. Or for example, I don't know, another one if I want to give you, if you, for example, the journey of, I don't know, just word discovery, self-discovery is not easy. So it's like this personal process or general, yeah, it's okay, you can use it. And let me say something. In this context, so when you want to use journey as uncountable, actually, that here, because of the context, because of actually, the meaning of your sentence, you don't need to make it plural or use, for example, many or, for example, few. So when you say journey, journey is journey. Okay, this is a general experience. So of course you can use, yeah. Yeah. So yes, overall, yeah. And so if you refer to specific trip, countable, general, yeah, ongoing process, or for example, like life or general experience, yeah, we can say uncountable. And the next one, that is software.
Software is countable.
Yeah, software. Just, is it uncountable or countable?
What?
So you said uncountable or countable? I heard uncountable.
Software, right?
Software, of course.
Software is countable.
It's uncountable. Yeah, it's because let me say, yeah, it's okay. I know what you mean. Again, yeah, actually, yeah, mostly.
Say my viewpoint. That means software. I think it's look like a tool. A tool that means maybe a pen. It used for writing something, right?
Yeah.
A software mean it's a tool that will help me to do something in my computer or my phone, or and that we can count.
Let me say something. About software, you're right, but let me say why. That is uncountable. Why? For example, I don't know, we developed new software, okay? So this is when it refers to program, application, system. So we say this is uncountable, okay? But it can be treated, as a whole, without being counted. So let me say something about, for example, programs, applications. So software is uncountable. Okay, but again, when referring to specific type or pieces of software, you can use it like programs, like applications. Okay, for example, how can I use this? I say, I've installed different software programs, so it's okay. So you can use it, but mostly is not, okay? Typically is uncountable, okay? But when referring to specific type or I don't know, single programs or applications, you can use it as countable, okay? But it's better to use. It's better if you want to make it plural, okay, that is important. Add program, for example, software programs, applications. Okay, so add program and application.
Can
This is about
I often said spelling that no. I often pronounce that software is right or wrong. Software,
of course, software, of course.
software,
Of course. It's not they, software, of course. Yeah, when speaking quickly, again, maybe you can't get letter T, so you know that's software, but it's software, so it's okay. Yeah. But don't say, for example, we have many softwares. No, it's not good. So software programs, it's okay. Software application is okay, but don't say many softwares or several softwares. No. Avoid. Many softwares, or for example, no. Okay. Well, and the next one, that is correspondence.
Correspondence is new word. Can you explain me?
Okay, do you remember? We talked about it.
Correspondence.
Do you remember?
No.
First of all, this is uncountable. So first of all, this is uncountable, okay? So, and especially when you refer to communication, okay? And if you want to, for example, give you the meaning of it, okay? Just different meaning, let me talk about it, okay? So the process of communicating through letters, correspondence, okay? Like email. Yeah, of course. For example, I handle all the correspondence for my company. What is that? Email, letters, communication methods, okay? Or you can also use it as your personal email. So why not, or letter? I receive 3, here you can use it as countable. So let me, again, both. For example, I receive 3 correspondences. So again, this is emails, letters. So can be countable if you use it written communication, uncountable. For example, letters, the process. So when I say I handle correspondence for my company, it means I try to check everything and I can handle. But when it's individual, letter or message, this is countable, but it's formal, so why we need to use it. So in general, the meaning of it, as I told you, exchanging written messages. This can be individual between me and you, so you can use it as countable, okay? Or state of, for example, like, the process of communicating, that is uncountable. So both of them, but mostly uncountable. Okay. Mostly uncountable. Yes. And so just let me write it here. Exchanging written messages. This is the meaning of correspondence. Okay. Well, and And you can also use it as like agreements. That is, again, for example, there is strong correspondence between the data and the result. So which means they agree. So like you can use it this way. Again, it's uncountable. Just when you refer to your personal email letters, you can use it as countable.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have proposal.
Countable. Most of the time countable.
Yeah, of course. The next one, that is money.
Uncountable.
Okay, money. And the next one.
But I remember the money is uncountable, but sometimes it makes me confused because I see that money I can count money.
More money. I need more money. You heard, of course, you heard. But let me say, money is not countable. So money is not countable. But for example, if you refer to someone's wealth, you know, she is rich, she has a lot of money. Or, for example, I need more money to, for example, I don't know, to fund the project. So it's okay. Of course we use, but how to use much? For example, I don't have much money left. I don't have much money left. This is uncountable. Or I have some money in my wallet. It's okay. I have little money to spend this month. So normally we consider it, but when you talk about someone's wealth or currency, you can use many with money. So it's okay. So countable and but uncountable. Okay. Well,
And equipment
and
countable.
Equipment. Of course.
Insurance, I think
uncountable. Just, you said, I'm sorry, just you said uncountable because I heard uncountable.
Equipment is countable.
Oh no, uncountable.
Oh.
Of course. So the word equipment, so we need more. Let me say, of course, when you talk about tools, machinery tools, uncountable. Okay. For example, there isn't much equipment available for training. We don't say many equipments. No. Uncountable. Okay. So for tools, for example, the company has bought new equipment, not equipments for workshop. Okay. So, but here there is an example with more, exactly the same as money. We have equipment with more. And I will explain it. Of course. Well, actually, we should skip this part, but just remind me. I will give maybe clues, okay, and tips to know. But just let me say something. Everything that you can say in English has some exceptions. So don't worry about it. So in every situation we have, we have some exception. Like this is the rule, but this is uncountable, but you can also use more. Okay.
I feel complicated.
I know. I'm so sorry because of this, but I will explain. And of course, after today, I have some classes, but when I finish my classes, I try to write them down and send them to have. So the rules, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. And again, the next session, we'll talk about them.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And have a great weekend and of course trip. And see you next week.
Thank you and see you on
You're
next week.
welcome. Of course, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.